With another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports, Fantasy Football, and Game Source. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening to all of our shows. And if you can, please give us that 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Plus, if you can like, share, subscribe. We're doing real good on subscribers, but we can always use more subscribers. So go ahead and subscribe today to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with another great Lakers Fast Break podcast, as Joe is going sideways for you right now as we speak. Always good to have Joe here as well. But if you can, like, share, subscribe, follow, or do whatever it is that you can to support us right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week. Inside Sports Fantasy Football, where we'll be covering who won NFL free agency for you this week on a great show. Looking forward to that as well. Game Source, of course, the great guys at LakersBall.com. Go ahead and check out Mr. Sideways, Joe Soro, as Ox1947 today at LakersBall.com. Plus, go ahead and support his company right now. A lot of rain going on, so you're going to get a lot of weeds, ugly looking stuff out there on your front lawn for all you SoCal people out there. So you know what? You need to change that. You need to change that right away with Simblades, Simblades with the Y.com. By, of course, the owner of the company is here. And of course, the best way to represent himself is wearing a hoodie. Awesome. But also as well, you want to go ahead and check out MagicMan in the morning every Friday morning right here at the Lakers Fast Break, 7:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. And of course, for you to be in the know in the NBA draft world, go ahead and check out the latest news and trends in the NBA draft with Stone Hansen and the great guys right there for you at the Upside Swings NBA Draft Podcast. And I'm assuming Laker Tom might be coming because the Lakers won tonight. So if you're not, still check out what he's doing today. Always great to have Laker Tom here, part of Lakerholics.com. And my good friend Jamie Sweet, Yami Sweet. I'm going to see if we can try to do a late night Lakers Fast Break on Tuesday. That's what I'm targeted for this week. I'll go ahead and share some thoughts on what we're going to do this week as well outside the games. But if you can support all of that, it is sincerely appreciated. Well, the Lakers coming off not one, but two straight debacles in Houston, and then coming back home for that terrible last-second shot and all the mistakes that they made in the Dallas game on Friday night, came into a must-win victory on Sunday, facing off against the surprising Orlando Magic, who won yesterday at the Crypt. So they were already comfortable with the Crypt as they beat the Clippers. Would it happen again? Thank you so much, Austin, for truly appreciate it. Austin is the key word for today. So thank you, Austin, for subscribing. Truly appreciate it. But the Lakers so far in the first quarter kind of went off, got to a struggling shot. A start just really did not mesh out very well at the beginning, kind of rocky to start off. I know Sean on playback was noting that, and Stone was agreeing with him with that as well. They were going in detail why. But that second quarter, the Lakers really started to pop from the outside, and they got off to a comfortable 16-point lead. But as I always say, the Lakers can't stand prosperity, and the Lakers, unfortunately, in the third and fourth quarters, let that lead dwindle down, little by little, and we got to the point where the game was tied late in the fourth quarter. But a late surge by a heroic Austin Reaves leading the charge off the bench for a lackluster starting five. Unfortunately, just didn't really get it done. But Austin Reaves, Rui Hashimura, and the guys off the bench really played well. They were on the plus side, all of them on the plus-minus scale. But Austin Reaves with a career-high 35 points, some clutch play down the stretch, hit almost all of his free throws, Anthony Davis, down the stretch. So really a great performance by him, a career high for him, as the Lakers pull out in the final minute, as we saw all the mistakes that the Lakers have been making late, made by the Orlando Magic, 111 to 105. And here today to talk about today's game, three great guys indeed. We're going to start off with the Magic Man himself. He is the host with the most. He's the madman from Toronto. He just can't get out of Toronto traffic unless he's here watching with you on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. It is the Magic Man, Sean Grice. Sean, great to have you here. You were there for the entire game. You watched the sluggish start. You watched the second quarter where they start to pop. But the key is with AD struggling on the offensive end and the starting five really not really meeting up to any expectations, and Malik Beasley just looking absolutely horrible. Troy Brown Jr. not looking good at all. I know everybody's going to be out there. Fried chickens are going to bring up the Lonnie Walker for the fourth. Why didn't he come back in the game? Come into the game. Why didn't he get off the bench? Why didn't Max Christie get off the bench? Because the starting five was really not that good. But the bench, my friend, they picked it up, and they're the reason why we won today's game.
100%, Gerald. We were emphasizing it. I think halfway through the third quarter is that when the Lakers were up 84-81, I had just peeked at the box score, and every single Lakers starter was a negative plus minus. And
we even got Austin Reaves in the chat right now. We're
yeah,
so happy.
I know.
Great
That's
job, Austin.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Didn't even reach the locker room yet, and he's already on Lakers Fast Break.
That's just dedication for you. That's just dedication.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, Gerald, this was Austin's second best game as a professional. Congratulations on his career high of 35 points. Hopefully it's just one of the many career highs he'll have as a Laker. But really efficient night when we needed it badly. 35 points on 14 shots. He got to the line 18 times. He made 16. I took note, Gerald. He got into the paint 7 times. He finished 5 times, and he finished the 3-point play 4 out of the 5 scoring chances. So the NBA does not yet have a conversion rate percentile of guys who are able to get into the paint and finish. If I had to guess, just off naked eye test, I would say Reaves is somewhere in that like the 80 percentile. Other than him, our high man was Russell with 18 points. So we really needed his contributions tonight. And as far as people saying, with LeBron out, you need somebody to get into the paint and score. Yeah, that's true. I really don't care if he's a freight train or if he does it like he's one of the teacups. It doesn't matter. Slow, fast. If Austin Reaves plays like this, you can't really slow him up or chase him around. He knows his game, plays his role. You can't really speed him up. He's got a good clock in his head as well. No matter where he is on the floor. So I mean, I just love this dude. He's a basketball player all around. I'm with Stone. Like, get your head out of your ass. Offer him a 4-year deal for like 75 mil and have him sign on the dotted line because we need him. We need him. He is what you call a building block.
He has really developed his game to become something kind of special as a player. We'll see how he develops even further. Could he develop into a player that could really be a big contributor on a team, a winning team, a championship team? I know was not convinced of that even coming into this season, but I sure am now that he could be a great player and a great contributor in this league. But also as well, here today to talk about today's game, good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check out what he's doing today along with his good friends at the Upside Swings NBA Draft Podcast. And please, if you like playback and you use playback, please go ahead and support them. First off, go ahead at report_court or at Upside Swings. You could go ahead and check out what they're doing as far as the playback games that they're watching. You can watch along with them and hear their insight each and every time out, plus their awesome podcasts as well, checking you in on the NBA draft. It is Stone Hansen. Stone, great to have you here, my friend. You were so insightful during the game. giving compliments on this Orlando Magic team that I think the future's really high for them. But thank goodness that wasn't so high that would mean a Lakers victory or Lakers loss for them today.
Yeah, for sure. I really do like the Magic, but the Lakers. I mean, the Lakers honestly did not play that well tonight.
No, no, they
And
didn't.
if they play like they did tonight against the Suns on Wednesday, we will not win that game. The Magic are a very young team and struggle with how to finish games, and I think that in that way the Lakers benefited. I mean, that's no discredit to the guys who played well tonight. Reeves obviously carried us, but I don't think we can afford to play this way against the Suns and expect a victory. The Lakers, I think, uh, need to figure out sort of what the offensive hierarchy of this team is. I think once LeBron comes back, that'll fall into place a little bit more. But I think that a team that has a different guy sort of like going off that's helping you every night without a consistent scoring options, I think is uh, I mean, it's nice to know that you have some guys that can do that, but I think more times than not, it's not going to lead to a lot of wins being strung together. And I think the Lakers, I mean, they did what they had to tonight because you absolutely could not have afforded to lose this game. And I think if they would have lost this game and then got on to maybe lose that Suns game, that the Lakers would probably be out of it for the rest of the way. There's just not a lot of games to make up being down by 2 games for the rest of this season. So it was vital that they won, and they did do that. But there's, I think, a lot of uh, things that need to be addressed coming out of this win. It is a win. We'll take it, obviously, and very excited and happy for Austin Reaves. But I think there's a lot of adjustments that have to be made going into that Suns game.
We all noted how sluggish the Lakers played in that second half, letting that 16-point lead at one time dwindle down to actually a tie game at one point. I mean, like you said, just the energy was just not there in that third quarter, and it showed. In fact, halfway through the fourth quarter, it looked very much or looked very similar to the kind of mistakes we were making against Dallas on Friday night. So,
Sorry, you were lagging for a second.
oh, no worries.
My
It,
Wi-Fi.
oh, your
Sorry.
Wi-Fi is not that good. No worries, no worries. Uh, it just seemed like the Lakers were struggling and making many of the same mistakes on Friday night that they did on
Yeah,
Friday night.
yeah. I didn't catch the Friday night game because I was busy live streaming the March Madness, but I did catch the final ends of that. Um, and I think that they were uh, the the way they closed that game and the way they closed this game. I think it was the Lakers did a better job of closing, obviously, and I think they on a couple possessions got lucky with Reeves getting bailout fouls. Um, but closing has to be like it can't be something that comes in and goes away game to game. Like it has to be something they're consistently good at if they want to be able to not only make the play in but like win their first round of playoff games, or even win just the play in game to get into the playoffs. Like there has to be some level of consistent finishing of games in order to go as far as we would like them to go.
Z, every time we see that lineup, because Stone pointed out first on playback, every time we see the three guard lineup, we always mention how you're going to be pissed off on it and how you're going to note it to everybody out there how bad you hate these three guard lineups. They're not effective, and I just don't know why he's so infatuated, meaning Coach Ham on it. But also here today to go ahead and talk about today's game. He does look like someone who should be straight out of a horror movie. Indeed, it is a guy that looks like also, according to Deviant Flux, should be hacking into a mainframe somewhere at some corporation. But we'll go ahead and still keep him here anyways. It is the man behind simblades.com and also as well lakersball.com. Very much a part of that is Ox 1947 is Joe Soro. Joe, great to have you on your mobile, my friend, doing the mobile thing as I did earlier last week. Your thoughts on today's game? Again, a strong second quarter really was the reason why that helped give them that lead, but they sleptwalked through most of that second half. And you saw the issues with the starting five, no energy from anyone in the starting five, even a bad game or a down game from Anthony Davis. And it just seemed like there was just no energy at all from anything outside of the bench. The bench really had to pick up the game for the Lakers tonight.
Yeah, there's a massive leadership issue with this team, and I don't see it changing anytime soon. The coach is actually getting worse. The more games played, AD is in a funk right now. His confidence is at an all-time low. He's going to need something big to kind of pop him out of it. Let's say if there is a game where he hits 2 free throws to win the game, or a game-winning shot, that'll probably likely get him out of his funk. But that's what would need to happen. But watching this team run an offense of a set is comical. No one doing any movement, even when you're practically neck and neck here. The game gets tied. You're up by 2, whatever it was towards the end of the fourth quarter. You're still seeing a bunch of guys just standing around. And if that's the case, you have to point the finger at the coach that's managing this team. And it's been a problem all year, and I don't think he's addressed it enough. And it's those little things that cost you these games typically. They won tonight because you needed a out of this world performance from a bench guy. And I know Austin Reaves is loved in Lakerland. I understand he's got a really, really good skill set, and he seems to be getting better. But when you have to have your bench guy be the star, when you have a star already on your team, it just goes to show you how badly managed this team is. Uh, I have no confidence in them beating Phoenix. Phoenix seems to have their number, and it doesn't matter whether it's Chris Paul there or Devin Booker, or even if Ayton isn't playing. That's why it was important to win the Houston game and win the Dallas game, because I had booked the Phoenix game as a loss. They have to win, really honestly. They probably have to win the rest of the games for them to make a dent here. And I don't like the way they're playing. I don't like who's leading this team. I can call out AD for his mental midget mindset, but I don't know. I don't think it's just one guy. I think it's an entire culture here. It's just not working. It's not working. It's not going to work when LeBron gets back. And I don't want to see Darvin Ham coach this team anymore. I'm about done with it. And that's the tough part about this summer. Even if we should go, we should go wherever we go in this season, it's still the fact that I have to deal with the fact that we have to have this guy who doesn't know how to coach a basketball team coach this team. And that's a tough thing to watch. And it's just not a good team, guys. They're not a good team. They're not. Blame it on culture, blame it on injuries, blame it on whatever you want. Bottom line is they're just not good. They are what they are, and we're going to ride this until it's over, and then hope that by some miracle they find someone else to coach this team. I think that's really the really big problem at this point. Is you talk about Beasley stinking, you talk about this guy stinking and all that. I go, Beasley's a role player, guys. He needs to be utilized correctly. Role players need to be utilized correctly. That's the point of a coach and a system. Stars are going to do star things. Role players work within a system. And sometimes they all take turns on who's going to be good. Tonight was Austin Reaves. Beasley's been struggling basically for all but one game in the last few weeks. And it's unfortunate because he is a dead-eye shooter, and it's something that you desperately need, yet you can't concoct an offense that could take advantage of his assets, right? Or his ability. Well, Joe, he missed a bunch of open shots tonight. Yeah, but they're not within rhythm, guys. If you watch basketball and you understand what a player's ability is, you're going to know what's a good shot and what's a bad shot. Yes, it's an open shot. He should make it. You're right. But that's not really what his game is. You got to be within a flow. You got to have some rhythm. That's basketball. We don't have any of that. And these shots that Austin Reaves was making were circus shots. He just happened to make them tonight. That's not a good system. That's just hero ball. It's just that Austin made them, and they happen to be 3-point plays on top of that. So I was just not impressed. I was not disgusted, not impressed. It's just a mediocre performance, other than Austin Reeves' individual performance. I commend him for what he did. AD had some moments on defense that helped, but ultimately, the Lakers are a mediocre team that's playing a below average team. And if you guys are expecting them to play better on Tuesday, I feel sorry for you, because they're not.
Once again, it's the Lakers fast break. The Lakers do win 111-105. Lakers do, with the victory, pull back into the play-in mix. They're tied with ninth place. I believe they're tied with Minnesota right now at 35 and 37 as the updated standings. ESPN just made it right there for you. They're actually listed as 10th, but they're tied with Minnesota Timberwolves. 13 games back. They're a half game behind the Thunder in 8th. They're a game behind the Golden State Warriors and a game and a half behind Dallas Mavericks. They'll be facing off against Phoenix, who they are 3.5 games behind on Wednesday. So hopefully you'll join us that on playback. But getting back to you, Mr. Magic Man, when it comes to what you see on the court that could be changing before the season ends, because we got an update on LeBron kind of vaguely from Coach Darvin Ham in regards to the fact that he says that we will see LeBron James before the end of the season. Didn't say that that was the playoffs, the play-in, or the actual end of the season itself. You've heard about all the stuff that's going on with the German doctors, blah, 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 as far as what was mentioned by Schroeder and all that. All that aside, do you expect to see LeBron James in a Laker uniform back out on the court before the season ends?
No, I'd be as far as like this look, Gerald. If he came back before the end of the regular season,
You remember to make that look if he does.
yeah, I would do this. I would literally do that because
Okay.
I don't see it. It's possible. I mean, for God's sakes, what he's doing with his body and the way he prepares is unprecedented. So if anybody could come back early from something like this, it probably is him. So I'm not going to doubt him at all, Gerald. But I just don't see it. Given the tenuous nature of that muscle at the bottom there can really aggravate it. I'd keep him off his feet as long as possible. I think if the Lakers want to make the playoffs and make the plan, because after this week, I don't think the 6th seed is within our grasp anymore. They're gonna have to get to the play-in without him, and you might have to win the play-in without him. So
there are just 10 games left.
Yeah, I wouldn't bring him back personally, even with 10 games left. I'd just wait and see personally, because it's 2 weeks basically. I don't think he's coming back until the playoffs start. I'd be very surprised at that. I'm a little worried that AD's kind of hitting a wall here, and something may happen with him. I'm not as despondent about Wednesday as Joe and maybe other Laker fans are. The two teams right now that are sinking fast in the West are Phoenix and Minnesota. Minnesota's lost 5 of 6, and that was even before Ant badly sprained his ankle. And the Suns have lost 4 or 5 since KD went down with his ankle sprain. Like as far as the Lakers not playing well tonight and still winning, they won. Phoenix did not play well tonight, and as a matter of fact, OKC just played okay too, but they still managed to beat them. I think if the Lakers put in a better effort on Wednesday than they did tonight, they'll put themselves in a better position to win. I'm with Joe. I don't see it as a win, but I'm not as down as I was previously, seeing as how Phoenix has been playing lately.
Phoenix will play better against the Lakers. They always do. That's the problem. They don't care about Oklahoma City. They're going to play balls out on Wednesday, and don't be
Well,
surprised.
I'm just saying they've lost 4 or 5 since the KD injury. Like it's pretty obvious, Joe, that at this point in time, Chris Paul really isn't the player he once was. I mean, we saw it today. Even if he wasn't shooting well, he still had 14 and 13, but he wasn't shooting well, and OKC took advantage of it. If Chris Paul isn't shooting well, I don't think Phoenix stands as good as a chance as their fans and experts think. That they're very reliant on being a good shooting team.
Once again, the Lakers do win 111 and 105. Stone, my question for you is, you're hearing what Joe says, and I'm actually leaning towards Joe because they never play well against Phoenix. And Phoenix, even though they are on the downslide, they always get up for the Lakers, and it's going to be on Wednesday night. I think that's a TNT game, if I'm not mistaken. If it is, yeah, it's going to be on national TV, so they'll probably get up for that. Your thoughts on this? I mean, can the Lakers, do you think that they can go ahead and pull off Wednesday? I'm hoping that they can, because if they do, that could clearly get them in a position where they can really make a nice charge in the last 10 games of the season.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think a lot of it depends if Eaton plays that game. I think I mean, Bismack Biyombo is like a fine backup center, but he's just not Eaton. And I think that if the Lakers can take advantage of that on the inside and take advantage defensively of just having less options for the Suns. Josh Okogie's been on like a ridiculous shooting streak, but as of recently, the past 3-4 games, it's been decreased quite a bit. I think that the Lakers have a shot, but like I was telling Sean on playback today, Darvin Ham just does not like look at film hard enough because the Magic were playing to their strengths tonight. Like they were just doing what the Magic's MO is, and Ham didn't really have a rebuttal to that. And if you're playing the Suns and Booker's really their only scoring option, does Ham look at game film enough and put in enough defensive adjustments and things into practice to make those shots that Booker likes harder for him and really hone in on him defensively? I just don't have a lot of faith in that particular thing happening because Ham just has not shown to really be a great coach. For the Lakers to really make the play-in, I think you have to go 8-2, maybe 7-3 to get in to the play-in here with the final 10 games.
I think they got to get to 500. They have to get to
500.
500. I think that should be the goal first, and then they can find themselves wherever they need to find themselves in the play-in mix.
I think 6-4 is doable when you look at this stretch. Like the Suns, best case scenario, they go 1-1. They play the Suns twice. Best case scenario, I think, is they go 1-1 and take one of those Suns games. The Bulls are a hot team right now. They're playing really well. It's not leading to a ton of wins, but they have closers and they have guys that I think can beat the Lakers. So best case scenario,
and a motivated Patrick Beverley.
Yeah. So best case scenario, that's another 1-1 split. The Jazz, maybe you pull a 2-0 sweep on them, but it's tough to do that for a team that you play so close together. They're going to adjust after they play you the first game. So I think another 1-1 split. So that puts you 3-3. Then you play the Wolves, who are on a downturn. So let's just say the Lakers win that. They're going to play really hard for that game because it means a lot in terms of standings. But let's just say best case scenario, they win that. That's 4-3. Let's say best case scenario, they win the Thunder game. That's 5-3. And then best case scenario, they win the Rockets game. Hopefully they learn from last time. That's 6-3. And then the Clippers game, the Clippers are just a better team. So that's probably 6-4 you're looking at. Is that enough to get in? I think it's going to be really, really tight. I think you want to be 7-3 to have that level of comfortability. 6-4 is probably the most doable route. I just don't know if it's quite enough to get you in.
I think 41-41 will get you the 10th seed, which, it's not that great, but
Yeah.
gets you in. Gets you in. Joe, I mean, it's a big week ahead for the Lakers with the matchup on Wednesday with Phoenix, which, again, I lean towards you and how they play normally against Phoenix. It's a big game coming up because you have 2 days where the Lakers probably will fall out of the standings just by the fact that they won't be active. They'll find themselves probably back out of the play-in mix at 11th place by the time that they get to that game. Your thoughts, they got to finish this week strong, man, or else, again, it's all for naught.
Yeah, I'm not confident at all. I'm pretty much resigned on thinking anything positive with this team. There's just not enough leadership and not enough focus on the right things. It's just a terribly managed team.
Well, they've let you
Terribly
down so
coached.
many times, right?
It's a terribly coached team. I mean, I'm talking. This makes, in a lot of ways, this makes the Luke Walton tenure a little bit more bearable. Luke Walton had no talent on his teams, and he stunk. This team has talent left and right, guys that actually can ball. Go ahead, Sean.
Go ahead, Chad. Go ahead.
You got to unmute yourself, though.
I got it. I got him.
Oh.
He's. I think he's just comparing his time with the Luke Walton era. Yes.
Well, the Luke Walton era, unfortunately, was there was too many distractions.
Yeah,
Luke Walton,
I was just doing my going into the medicine cabinet and trying to find the rat poison when Joe was talking about the greatness of Luke Walton. He's not wrong. I'm the little guy from a brother where out thou. He ain't lying.
Yeah,
Joe.
Luke Walton, unfortunately loved being head coach of the Lakers. Luke Walton a little too much and forgot to work. That happens sometimes. But Darvin Ham is about as pathetic a head coach as I've seen in a Laker uniform. I'd say Randy Fund esque at this point. Randy Fund and Darvin Ham are the two worst coaches I've ever watched coach the Lakers, and that's with Magic Johnson being a coach as well. At least Magic Johnson had a good first 7 games, and then really only coached 16 games. I can't even remember what it was, but he's terrible. He's absolutely terrible. He doesn't hold anyone accountable on his team. He doesn't have any idea how to run a normal set out of the timeouts. No one knows what the hell they're doing on that team. There's freelancing everywhere. They all look like a bunch of free safeties. And if you guys watch the game, without knowing what's going on, I should say, you'll realize how bad the offense was run and how individual skill sets by Austin Reaves was what really helped us. It's over. It's over, and it's been over, but we've been holding on a little longer. The Dallas game was really the clincher for me in terms of finally putting a stake in it. Tonight's game just reiterated the fact that they can't really play against anyone with any consistency. Orlando's a bad team. I don't care how good they've been playing since February, and the Suns stink right now, and they're not going to win jack squat because Durant can't stay healthy. But they're going to smack the Lakers on Wednesday all over the place. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but you guys know about all that hoping and being wrong when it comes to this team. It's usually not. They're just not. They're a pathetically run team at this point, and AD is a pumpkin. Whether he's going to be a coach, meaning like a coach, guys, not a coach, a coach, the thing that pulls the horses or whatever, or the horses pull. That's going to take a defibrillator, something big where he hits a game-winning shot or a game-winning free throw for him to get out of this funk. And until then, we're going to probably see AD miss 1 of 2 free throws and AD miss four footers and 5 footers pretty much half the game.
Once again, the Lakers do win 111-105. They are now 35-37, 10th place in the Western Conference, tied with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Again, they're right in the mix, but MagicMan, again, it's going to be a tough week ahead, again, because of the fact that the Lakers don't have 4 games on the schedule for this week. They only have 3. And in doing so, just by the sheer nature of the schedule, they will fall probably at least a spot before they even get a chance to play a game, and could do the same thing again before they play the next time around. So, your thoughts on where the Lakers might end up for this week by the time everything is said and done?
Yeah, you know what, Gerald? I have a feeling we'll either be in the exact same spot we are, or quite possibly back in 11th place, unless they actually go 3-0 this week. It's strange, man. There should be an emphasis right now for them to completely pick it up and try and just push through and win as many games as possible right now, because if you're scoreboard watching and looking around the rest of the league, well, the hottest team in the NBA outside of the Philadelphia 76ers, you play on Friday night. It's the Oklahoma City Thunder. They've won 7 of 9. They're 1 game out of 6th place. That team plays really well, based off of SGA. He is their engine. He is the nucleus. He is the peanut butter and jelly on toast for them. The Minnesota Timberwolves are struggling right now, Gerald. They've lost 5 of 6. They lost a bad game yesterday to the Raptors off a back-to-back. They're probably
It's just where every team around the Lakers, and that's the only saving grace, as I was
it's the
telling
only
Alex,
saving grace.
is that they're all playing bad.
The Golden State Warriors have won 7 games all year on the road. That's lottery level bad.
Yeah.
That's one of the only reasons why the Lakers find themselves in a fortuitous position that
they're in 7th place.
Yes, the Golden State Warriors have lost 11 games in a row on the road and still find themselves in a play-in position somehow. So that's how topsy-turvy and just really strange this year has been. And it's been a combination of, like Gerald's saying, this team just cannot handle prosperity whatsoever.
There's never been prosperity.
Well, there has been, though.
Anytime they get a little momentum going, and you and Tom
Joe.
start talking about playoffs, like I tell you guys to stop talking about playoffs, because that's the kiss of death. Yeah. What happens? What happens, Sean?
They hit that wall, Gerald.
They sit people that are healthy to play.
Well, yeah, but Joe, you had to admit that they had some forward momentum, because you of all people go back to the Denver game where LeBron sat, that as an illustration of whatever momentum they create, it's just
that was just faking. I was just fake. That was fake optimism, because if I came in here with negative realizations of things, it would drain everyone.
Now we're getting behind the candelabra with Joe Soro.
I'm serious. It's not that hard to figure out. They're a pathetically run team in terms of the team, right? Rob makes this trade, helps out the team tremendously in terms of youth and role players that actually fit this particular, let's say, 2-star set. And they still are losing the same way they were losing before. It's just that they don't have a numbskull throwing the ball in the 3rd row during the late games. Instead, now it's turned into missed free throws and fouling people at the 3-point line. It's stupidity. It's an infectious cancer of stupidity that this resonates throughout the whole team. And it starts with Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham is the worst coach in the NBA that's a head coach. And he's proved it with his work. That's and you're not going to convince me to all of a sudden think that they're going to beat Phoenix because they're a couple players down. And then on top of that, you're going to play the second hottest team on Friday. The Lakers could be done on Friday. They lose against Phoenix on Wednesday and then lose against Oklahoma City. They're toast. Who's going to guard Shea Gilgeous? Who? AD? Austin?
He's going to go off for 40.
He's going to go off for 40, 45. They're going to go wire to wire. They're going to get to that point where they can shoot a couple free throws to end the game. And guess what? They're going to miss both or miss one. And then they'll hit some last-second shot because Darvin Ham doesn't know how to set up a defense either. So it's over. It's over talking about, nice flowers and beautiful palm trees and all that horse crap. I'm over it. Tonight was just I'm watching again. I'm just like, what the hell am I doing with my life? It's exactly what I thought in my head. It's exactly what I thought in my head is, what am I doing with my life watching this mediocre trash team that can't do a basic set out of a timeout over and over and over again with this kind of talent. These are talented guys like Beasley, D'Angelo Russell, Vanderbilt, AD, Austin Rivers. These guys are freaking talented players, but they look like a below 500 team. How is that possible? Just bad. This right here in the head. No bueno.
And no hoodie. No hoodie either. But once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. Stone, you've been very analytical when it comes to Ham's decision making and rotations out there on the court. Is your assessment similar to what you see from Joe as far as the overall picture for Ham? I think, rookie coach for this team was not the right call. I think it's something that we had talked about over the course of the season that, you just see the bad habits, they're already formed. And it's just, he did pick up a lot of the good things from Budenholzer that I think that we were hoping that he would pick up.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very difficult to make any sort of case that Ham's been a positive for this team. He's like we were watching tonight, the Magic just played to their strengths, and it's like, does Ham not have any film sessions where he's pointing these things out and saying, like, if Wendell's open for a top of the key three, he's going to take it unless you close out hard on it, and he's going to make it. Or if Paolo can get past the initial line of defense, is he going to pull up for a mid-range shot? The answer is yes. And if there's no closeout, he's going to make it. And the Lakers just don't have, it doesn't seem like they're putting a defensive plan into work. I mean, not to get even too big picture here, but I just don't. Ham's a terrible coach, and this team would run a lot better with a different coach. Even with a different coach, I don't know if this team is good enough to be any sort of contender.
But maybe like 4 or 5 wins might have been the difference as far as the coaching this year.
Yeah, I struggle to see in the long term. I don't want to get too into it, but I just don't. I don't know what the.
Yeah, Stone. Anytime you have Wenyen Gabriel at the 3-point line or a Vanderbilt, I've seen that on more than one occasion. How that's even an option? How is that even one is too many times for definitely Wenyen Gabriel.
Yeah.
How does the offense do that? Is he a Dave Roberts coach? Is he a puppet that reads off a sheet? Because I'm trying to understand the stupidity of this coaching. Is the coach this dumb in terms of not being able to understand basic sets?
I mean, I would argue there's more bad coaches in the NBA than good coaches, and I think Ham is one of those bad coaches, and he doesn't seem to understand adjustment or game by game schemes or plays or anything. I mean, honestly, I don't really know why he was in the NBA to begin with, but he just doesn't seem to. We know why the Lakers hired him ultimately, right? Like he has ties to the Lakers in the past, and that's the only reason he got hired. And will continue to have this sort of coaching problem or this front office problem or whatever the next problem is, as long as this team is owned by Jeannie Buss. And I think that this sort of looking towards legacy rather than talent is what's always going to hold us back. And I don't think that's going to change for as long as she owns it. And I don't think that she's going to die owning the team. So I don't think it's ever going to change. And this is what it is for the Lakers, I think, for the foreseeable future.
You know what's interesting about what you just said? Okay, let's look at the coaching decisions since Pat Riley. Okay, Randy Fund, Mike Dunleavy. Okay, Randy Fund was a complete disaster. Well, Mike Dunleavy was before Randy Fund. Mike Dunleavy was not a Laker. There was no Laker lineage there, right? And what did he do? He took him to the finals. Then you had Randy Fund, a legacy pick, bad. Magic, bad. Del Harris, not a Laker guy. Actually, didn't it wasn't great, but he was pretty darn good with that.
Took him
with
to
that
the
crew.
finals.
61 games. He won
Took-
61 games.
Exactly. And then what'd you have? You had Kurt Rambis, again, lineage, stunk. Phil Jackson, not a Laker, wins 5 championships. Rudy Tomjanovich is really the only guy, even though it was the only guy. I think he was burnt out. I don't know if I really would even factor that guy. And he quit after 4 months. So
Yeah.
if you look at the history of things, Frank Vogel, not a Laker. That's the thing that cracks me up about this is the guys that you've actually hired outside from the coaching standpoint, outside the Laker family, have actually won.
Yeah, because
Why the hell did you?
they're looking for talent, not for lineage. But when they go for this lineage route, it's just always going to be the same, and you're missing out on talent because you're so focused on finding guys that have this Laker family tie. If you by completely looking for that, you're disqualifying everyone else who has probably a better skill set and can do a better job with this team.
And Nick
I mean-
Nurse, Nick Nurse coached pretty damn well in 2019 for a rookie coach. Steve Kerr won a championship in his rookie season. There is Pat Riley won a championship in his rookie year. That's not actually unique. If you're a good coach, you can win in your rookie season. That doesn't fly here. We know what we're watching, and we know that there's a massive negative here on who's leading this team. And the sad thing is, you had a guy already that at least gave this team an identity. Yeah, he might have not had a good offensive philosophy, but he at least had an identity and had a defensive philosophy that might have helped a little bit more. And maybe if you brought in someone who had a good offensive mindset, maybe that would help. I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm just tired of watching this trash.
I mean, Pelinka got the job because he was Kobe's agent. And Magic got the job because he was a Laker, and Kurt Rambis has the amount of influence that he does in terms of decision making because he was a Laker. If you surround yourself in an echo chamber, you're never going to get out of it, and that's exactly what Jeannie has done, and it's not going to change because she'll never sell. So,
and the Michael Jordan era is coming to an end in Charlotte because of that as well.
Yeah, we're stuck in an infinite loop of bad decision making.
And there we go from there.
I mean, it's just the world. I've been listening, and I agree 100% with everything every panelist on here is saying. It's Gerald. It is 2023, so we can't live in vacuums anymore. But people do live in bubbles, and that it's pretty obvious that the Genie Bus lives in one.
I think Joe is he's going to go down to the Crypt and he's going to hack their mainframe right now. He's got that hoodie on.
No, I'm going to be petting my cat.
There you go. Oh, petting. I miss you, PMC, wherever you are, man.
We're
on the replays. I'm petting my cat.
Hopefully he's still part of Team Replay, #Team Replay. I hope all is well with him. But yes, there you go.
Yeah,
but
so I mean, what Stone said is 100% true. It's it's not a reverse pyramid for the Lakers. It's like everything rolls down from the top, and she is just lives in this bubble where she knows a lot. Like you said, Gerald, she's been in the game a long time. She could play the card. She doesn't know what she's talking about or this, but Gerald, this isn't a babe in the woods. She's been around. It's not like
I don't care what Joe says about what department she has been and whatnot. She has been part of a basketball franchise for decades. You cannot just tell me you were blindly
selling
don't know
circus.
anything.
circus performers. That's what she does.
No, that's what she used to do, but for quite a bit, she's actually
Yeah.
been a good part of this organization. So you should at least have some idea when you run
No,
a $6 billion
no, she has no clue what the hell she's doing.
team to go ahead and, well, then again, then she shouldn't be running a $6 billion+ team. It's simple as that. You either do or you don't. You can't
Well,
just sit there and
Look,
run it by
man, Jim
osmosis.
Irsay is an owner of a team. Let's just put it that way. You know, when you got nepotism in your hands, that's what happens. That's why things are. That's why people yell unfair things out there that are going on. You know, because you have things keep getting passed on to dumber people, right? Guys that have no business running things.
Gerald, let me ask you a question, and I'll ask all the panelists this, but I'm asking Gerald first because it's Gerald's show. Gerald, if you were the Lakers, would you offer Austin Reaves a contract extension as soon as possible when the offseason begins? Or would you run the risk that some team now is likely going to give him the arena rule deal? And for those out there who are not familiar with it, an NBA team outside of the Lakers can offer Austin Reaves a contract for, as an example, they can offer 4 years, $80 million. They can structure the deal where Austin makes $10 million in the first year. He makes 12.5 in year 2. And then Gerald, it goes up significantly. He makes about 25 and 28 in year 3 and 4. Would you rather sign him to an AAV contract, like an annual, or would you take the risk that someone is going to offer him an arenas rule deal?
Well, the thing is, you've got how many years he's been with the Lakers? 2 already. So you
Yep.
already have talked to him and his agent now for 2+ years. You already have a relationship with him. You already have a point where you are established with that agent. So you have a relationship when you already know that if feel like that you can negotiate with him. You also have to make sure that when you sign him or what you offer him is in line with the ability to go ahead and sign other players to help build your team in the off season. So you have to calculate it out right is probably the best way to do it. People say, let's just go ahead and give him 20 million. It's not that simple. When you give him that 20 million is exactly when the Lakers should be looking at trying to go ahead and build this team because you got free agency, you've got other things that you need to take care of along with that, but you can't let it go too long because, like you said, Sean, the Lakers will lose them. But that's what a good front office does. A good front office is able to go ahead and retain its own players, yet still sign and make those key signings available to them and still have money available to go ahead and get those players that they need to help their team win. So we'll see. It's up to the front office, but I would make sure I would try to have that relationship built with Austin Reaves and his agent so that it would be hard for them to leave unless they get a really, truly outstanding offer.
I won't say too much, but from what I know, a couple people involved in the agency process of Austin Reaves. And from what I gather, Austin Reaves would prefer to remain a Laker long term. I think Austin Reaves is a little bit more flexible in terms of the deals that he'd be willing to take from the Lakers. And I think from what I have been told, it sounds like an extension is likely, or would be likely, I should say. But
Well, remember, we've been down this road before with a certain guy named Alex.
Yeah, we were, and this is kind of a combination of him and Zubaz because Austin Reaves just got finished through saying that growing up the Lakers were his favorite team. So now all of a sudden, this could be the second consecutive year where outside of AD and LeBron, the most fan-friendliest player you've had in the organization is out the door. You can't let it happen. Not twice in a row.
You don't want to do a situation where you overpriced yourself like we saw with Taylor Horton Tucker. That just really was just something that set the team back a little bit because of that signing.
I mean, I think if you're looking at some sort of an extension, you would probably want a 3-year is what I would think. I think that's probably the ideal situation. I mean, the Lakers, I would guess, are probably trying to do like a 3-year, 50 million type deal, and I would be willing to go up to like 60 million for Reaves. I think he's a 20 million annually type player, as a young player, and I think that, I mean, Lakers can't really just afford to let him go. That is what it comes down to. Can
He's
the
what,
Lakers?
24?
Yeah, because he came out of college at 22, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
mean,
I
he'll
don't
still
think
be
you can.
whatever contract he signs, he'll still be like in his prime when he becomes a free agent once again.
Yeah, I don't think the Lakers can really afford to let him, unless it's like an asinine type asking price. But I think that they have to sort of do what they can to keep him. And I think, like I said, from what I have been told and gather from the talks that I've had with a couple different people, it sounds like Austin Reaves would prefer to continue his career as a Laker at this point in time.
Once again, it is the Lakers winning 111-105. They are 35-37 in 10th place in the Western Conference. We'll be back on Monday night to talk some NBA observations. Who's the MVP right now? That'll be on our minds, along with what's going on in the Western Conference. We'll talk about that because a lot of things have changed. I know Stone's going to be talking a lot with the guys from Upside Swings NBA Draft podcast, not only on later this week for the Sweet 16 and all that for their playback channel, but I know there's been some great conversation going on with what we're seeing with Scoot Henderson, and also as well with what we're seeing with Brandon Miller from Alabama. So a lot of people are now putting him at number 2 over Scoot Henderson. I don't know about that. I mean, I've seen the best of Scoot. I've seen the best of Miller. I'll just have my opinions, but I know everybody's now infatuated with winning Miller number 2, and I know the guys are discussing that on Upside Swings podcast. But Joe, before I hit all the rest of the guys on what they're doing this week, and of course, we're looking to have a late night on Tuesday and looking forward to doing something on Thursday as well. What are your thoughts on what the Lakers need to get done in the next few days before we head on out?
Win.
There you go.
Yeah, win. You lose Wednesday and Friday, you might as well just quit because you pretty much are quitters anyways.
So you think if they lose both games this week, then they're done?
They're done. You're going to see a downward spiral similar to what we saw the second half of last year when we had Westbrook. These guys don't have the mental fortitude, and they don't have the leadership to get them out of this rut. They're weak, they're soft, and their leadership is weak and soft from every angle, with exceptions of a couple guys that can somehow get out of that funk. But ultimately, as a team, from top to bottom, they're soft, they're weak, and they don't impress me in any form or fashion. They're not the only ones that are like that. There are many teams that are just like that, and that's what they are. That's why you see teams that are 2 games separated from what, 5, 6 to 13. That's what you are. You are mediocre. You are average because your mindset and your ability to go forward is average. You make all that money.
Well, let me just say this: 4 games separates 4 from 12.
Yeah, it's the NFL essentially. It's become the NFL. Mediocrity. The only thing is with the NFL is the system is set up that way because you have a hard cap that only allows you to keep certain players. And in an NFL league where the quarterback makes sometimes 1/4 of the salary cap, you're screwed. You can't really better yourself or keep a consistent team together without it. But in the NBA, you have the ability to stretch that a little bit and get the right players and get the right setup. So the fact that you have mediocrity as much as you do here in the West, it just goes to show you how, again, it's a soft, weak league. And you don't need to listen to me. Go listen to Dame Lillard when he was did an interview with JJ Redick. Don't listen to me, guys. I'm not an NBA player. I'm gonna go by what I see, but I'm also getting my information from actual NBA players who've been talking smack. We're talking about Dame Lillard, okay? Dame Lillard is one of the few badasses in the NBA from top to bottom, okay? You already heard something from Anthony Edwards, didn't you? Didn't you hear that too? How he was talking about playing every game and we're out there to play, we're out there to do our thing. The word is out. We just need to start speaking it a little bit louder. And I don't know if it'll change, but you are if anybody's listening from the organization, I want them to know. I want this to tail into somewhere at some point, and I want it to resonate in the people who are watching, make it grow. That you are a soft, weak ass team, and you don't have to be. It's just that's who you are mentally. You're weak. You're a weak-minded organization, and you don't have people that are skilled enough. This is the Chuck Noll thing. I'm going to keep bringing it up. It's not has nothing to do with your attitude. You're just not good enough. You're just not good enough. And your record and your performance at the end of the games have shown it. It's not me being mean and being negative. You are what you are because that's what you've presented. And at this point, there's 10 games left. No more of the fairy tale, guys. The coach is a pumpkin. Cinderella's gone. She's back to scrubbing floors or whatever the hell she does. Are we going to get a prince to come in here and fix this? Absolutely not, because that's fantasy, guys. This is reality. There's no prince coming to save the Lakers. Not that includes you, LeBron. And it's kind of the irony of that is hilarious, considering he's called the king. No, it's over, guys. The season's going to go the way it's going to go. Maybe they might make the play-in, but they're not going to go much further than that.
So you don't think LeBron has the glass sneaker for the Lakers?
No.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough indeed. Sean,
I had another answer, but I'm going to keep it PG.
Okay, fair enough. I appreciate that. Sean, we already had to make it explicit on the last time around. Sean, before we head on out, my friend, any last thoughts on what's going on with the Lakers? I know you and I have got hopefully everybody else could join us as well for a great conversation on Monday for the NBA observations, but your thoughts on what needs to be done for the Lakers before we head on out?
Yeah, Gerald. I think we're just at this point, it's kind of a wing and a prayer, and like the wing is like half broken, so we got like half a wing and a prayer now. So that's what we're rolling with. I agree with Joe. I also agree with Stone. I think, at minimum, you probably need to go 7-3, probably minimum to get into the plan. It's probably not going to happen. This whole exercise kind of feels like as fans, like we're stuck in quicksand, and you're trying to get out, and Ham is like controlling both your arms, and he thinks the best way to get out of it is to just grab your ankles. So now our arms are stuck in the sand. We're just barely sticking our heads above. And if you look out of the corner of your eye, you actually see there's like a Black Panther watching you in the sand. And so now you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, because you can go all the way in or take your chances with the Panther. That's kind of what this season feels like, especially with Ham. God, has he learned anything through 72 games thus far, Gerald? Absolutely anything? I don't think
really.
so either. I don't think so either. And so the next
We
thing,
have.
yeah, we have. Yes.
The same mistakes. If the same mistakes are being made in the first 20 games as you see in the last 20 games, your answer is right there.
Yeah. It's like if you were handing out a report card, he had a C halfway through, and it's like a C- at this point. It's the same, which means it's not good because you haven't really gotten better. So we have a C coach with 10 games left. You need to play above your head, and I don't see it happening. Got my fingers crossed here, but I just don't see it happening. Maybe they pull off a surprise and win Wednesday. I'll do something crazy if that happens on air. I'm not sure what.
Okay, fair enough.
I think you know
Another
what?
wings challenge.
Yeah. Well,
Johnny, I did win a T-shirt. That's what they seem to do when they do these.
Okay, so if they win
All
on
right.
Wednesday, I'll pull a Stone Cold. I will actually buy a 6-pack and chug it on air.
Oh my gosh, there you go. All right. Well, Joe, you did win a T-shirt from.
And Alan, you can suck. You know what? Because I did beat him up. Okay.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
right there on. It's right there on camera. It's right there. You want to
Yeah,
go
it's
check
on
it out?
camera. There was
Lakers YouTube
there
channel.
was people there. I was at a Buffalo Wild Wings. And
Yeah,
if you don't
those
want to
snot
believe it,
bubbles weren't fake.
then you can suck it.
Hey.
Since you
Okay.
said-
All right.
Hey, Sean brought up Stone Cold and chugging beer. I'm just trying to bring the Attitude Era back.
The Degeneration X.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. Before I get to Stone and giving you the update of what's going on with the Upside Swings podcast, I did want to mention again that the Lakers Fast Break group, we had a fun time setting up the men's tournament challenge, and then the games happened. I do want to give everybody an update. I want to compliment Naughty Head 4782. I don't know who that is, Naughty Head 478, but I want to say congratulations because you're in first place in our group and you're in the top 10% of all the brackets that are out there. You're at 93% as far as that's concerned. So congratulations on moving on. You're really high up there. You have a chance to win the big prize. Absolutely. L Rob, he seems to know it all. He wins in fantasy basketball. He's doing well here. He's at 86%, so he's in the top 15, although his title team, Kansas, unfortunately has lost. So at some point, it's probably going to come back on him. He probably won't be able to finish out strong there. Henry from Courtside Lakers is next at 81%, tied with the two other brackets from Naughty Head 478. And thank you so much, everyone, for playing Men's Tournament Challenge. Then the MagicMan, you're at 75%. You've got your brackets. Yeah, 74.6. So you're still within the top 25-ish percent. So congratulations on that. And then Stone, you and I were not having some great times here. Again, I always make the memes of all the dumpster fires and, blowing up cars and all that when it comes to my brackets on those first few days. All those high C's winning because I went basically chalk. They came back and bit me in the ass. Unfortunately, that's the only way to describe it, Joe. An ass is still a good enough word to say. It's not totally explicit, but Stone, you and I are at the bottom of the barrel here. We're at 50%, barely half of the brackets that are out there. Your thoughts on this, my friend? Although my national champion, I have a chance to improve because Alabama, despite my misgivings on Miller, as far as him not really playing that well so far yet, I still have them as my national champions. You picked Kansas, which, like Bill Self, had to take a powder. Your thoughts on that, and then please lead us into what you guys are doing at the Upside Swings NBA Draft Podcast.
Yeah, I currently suck at my bracket, as is the case every year.
Don't sugarcoat it. Don't sugarcoat it, Stone.
And this is what I do on my old podcast. I sound like so negative every time, but I do really suck at this. Not honestly, the big upsets were not that surprising to me. Like Purdue, yes, they're the 1 seed, but probably the worst 1 seed in history. And I think that even though Fairleigh Dickinson isn't that good of a team, it's not that surprising because you can really scheme Edie out of a game. And there's just none of these are like super shocking to me. I'm just dumb at picking which teams are actually going to pull it off. So, with that said, the upside swings, we're doing obviously just a ton of draft content right now. We're doing trying to stream as many of these games as we can. Thursday and Friday was awesome. We got a lot of people, and in a span of 36 hours, we streamed for 24 of them. Just watching all the March Madness games. I'll continue whether we're streaming or not to watch every single March Madness game. We're just going to be talking about all the prospects coming up. And to get any updates, you can follow me at report_court or our Twitter as the podcast, which is at Upside Swings. And anything we do will be posted on one of those accounts. But yeah, that's about all we have coming up.
Looking forward to it, my friend. All the great stuff you guys are doing at Upside Swings NBA Draft Podcast. Also, check out Lakerholics.com with Laker Tom and Jamie Sweet. LakersBall.com. You can go ahead and check out Ox 1947 today, and also Magic Man in the morning on Friday. Sim Blades for all your lawn needs in the Southern California area. And Joe, you look like Tom Cruise in Minority Report as he was buying drugs. I'm just going to tell you that straight up. You know, when he went underneath into the alley right there to buy some drugs, you know, kids, by the way, don't do drugs. I tell you what, that hoodie just matches what you're all about. Hopefully Joe won't hack a mainframe at some point in the near future, and hopefully he'll be joining us this week as well. But for Joe Soro, MagicMan Sean Grice, and Stone Hansen, I want to thank you so much for watching and listening. Special shout out to Juan, who is heading over. I know he's got a long trip ahead of him, heading to, I think from Arizona he lives. He's heading to the game on Wednesday against Phoenix. Remember, you can watch it with us, playback.tv/LakersFastBreak. Wish you safe travels and hope you have a win heading your way for us as well. We'd like to see that, but it is Phoenix coming up on Wednesday. We'll be here Monday. Looking forward as well to NBA observations. Lakers late night, hopefully coming up on Tuesday as well. So for Joe Soro, Stone Hansen, and MagicMan Sean Grice, it's Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much for everybody out there. What are Sim Blades? Well, you know what? If you live in the Southern California area, Scarlet and Blue, you can go ahead and find out at Simblades with a Y.com. But thanks so much to everybody for being part of what we do here. We'll see you tomorrow after the Lakers win 111-105 to head into 10th place in the Western Conference. Will it get easier for the Lakers? 10 games left. We'll find out.
Word just came in that they're looking at Tristan Thompson as the 15th spot. Yippee.
Yippee. There you go.
They can't even make that decision, right?
Too little, too late. Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, though, it is great everyone everywhere here. The best Lakers chat room that's out there and the best Lakers post game is out there is right here. You can only find it right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Have a good evening, everyone. Stay safe.